All right, good morning, traders. Good morning, Stock Doctor. Good morning, Greg. Good morning, Ron. Good morning, Michelle. So we got a bit of an interesting day. I haven't really even looked at anything quite yet. Let's see, SPY selling off a little bit here today, but the Dow Jones is still over 30,000. So we actually did open up above the 9 moving average. So we may. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. All I know is I'm preparing myself for a crash at some point. But with the economy opening back up, there may not be a crash. Who knows? It's hard to tell. This is really, really hard to tell what is going to be happening with our economy. See, I'm looking here. Looks like we got a bunch of mid caps again running. See, IGC. Oh, IGC just popped up. Oops. That's a pot stock or the. Pot stocks running? Let me see. Let me pop down here. Look at my pot stock list. Might be trading pot stocks today. Oh yeah, pot stocks are running today. Some of them are anyway. Interesting. And NVC is trying to test that trend line. Got a flag forming on IGC, this little pot stock here. Possible another breakout coming there. 250 is going to be some strong resistance though. CHFS, what's CHFS doing? One last second, go look at CHFS. Boy, this is went on a pretty nice rip through pre-market, about a $4 rip, a little bit over $4. If it comes back, if it can hold this 11 area, actually, yeah, this is what it is. It can hold this $11 area and then maybe start to U-shape it back around. But it already U-shaped right through there and missed that play. But it could make another U-shape. We'll keep it on watch. NGC still in that flag. I don't know. NMVC starting to pop off the trend line here. And ran about 70 cents off the trend line so far. We actually got a little U shape going. I may go on this. If I can get a not too crazy of an entry. I'm gonna go. Trying to get filled. I got filled at 795. That's all right. It's starting to pop up here over 8. Coming right up to that resistance. Let's see here. You gonna get frisky on this big U shape? Oh, we're about to get halted. Oh, maybe not. We're gonna get halted or not here. What's happening? It's all over the place. No, we didn't get halted. We're still climbing. So we may have a bit of a pullback, getting rejected there at that 825. It looked like we were about to get halted for a second, but it didn't. Buying volume trying to increase. Actually, 850 is where we're hitting at. If it breaks through 850, it'll probably start going pretty nuts. Let's see here. We got a little tug of war going on. Here we go. Ooh, we tested 850 again. Didn't break. Let's see if buying volume comes through here and pushes this through. We still got increase in buying volume. Need to test that 850 one more time on this momentum if it's going to break. If not, it's going to come back down. Yeah, we got a little double top. Let's see how many. Let's see. We got 30 seconds for this candle to close. Let's see if this can hold up. Coming back up to test 850 again. Let's see. There we go. Through 850. Still getting held up a little bit, but we did break through all that selling real quick. Still some selling pressure. Still some selling there at 850. But that was a nice close on that candle. We want this one to keep pushing up. We want this momentum to continue. If it starts curling over, and that will be no bueno. And we may start to make a little flag here. But off the trend line, I mean, this was a dollar something run, so there is going to be some profit taken for anybody who got in on the trend line. But you can see we are making a little flag here. Unless it cracks out of that flag, but let's see. Flagging right under 850. Popping through 850 again there. Another little 850 test, and it did pop through. There we go. There we go. Starting to push. There we go. Let's see this up to $9. To 870. Getting pushed back down in the flag. Oh, now it's starting to crack a little bit. All over the place here. That flag cracked down. It even cracked back below the U-shape area as well. And it's coming all the way back down to the trend line. Yeah, I should have locked something out there, because you can see there's a lot of resistance right there in that 875 area. So I might have screwed the pooch on this one, not locking in. I thought we would at least hit 9. So I was looking right there at that resistance too. 875 to 9 is a lot of resistance, but I was looking for that 9 to be resistance. But let's see what happens. It may It was looking so good too. It's looking like it was ready to go, and then just getting slammed at that 875. And we don't want it to drop below 750. But I feel like I'm bag holding at this point. IGC, 216 it looks like. See, 750 is trying to hold. Oh, it just cracked though. See if buyers can hold it above, because the trend line's right at 7. Well, actually, the trend line's at 730-ish, 740-ish. But 750 is trying to hold as support. Oops, 750 cracking again. This is getting very close to cracking the trend line here. Overall, the price action is still pointing up, though, so that's why I'm trying to give it a chance, see if this trend line is going to hold. So if the trend line holds, then we could easily get back up to the 850 area. Starting to get a little doji here. Looks like we're going to doji right on the trend line. The channel is about the stock market and day trading and trying to be an entrepreneur and being financially free. So there's tons of different content. Got day trading lessons. I do these live streams. We got the portfolio power up where I have guest appearances. Got stock reviews where I'll take a look at stocks closer. Got top 5 lists. Got all kinds of stuff. I have been doing videos about crypto because I do trade cryptos. I trade and invest in cryptos, I guess. I'm getting more and more into cryptos. I like cryptos. This is getting real close to cracking here. NVC had positive results. That's good PR. If this trend line holds up, I may grab a couple more shares. I may average down a little bit. Ooh, getting real close to cracking. This needs to come up right now. So we got a minute. We look very closely here. Where's the bottom of this one at? 712. So yeah, if it cracks below 712, that's probably going to be it for this. Because that's the low of the day. So below 712, this run's going to be over with. Yeah, I'm on NNVC right now. Which should have been a winning trade. But I did not lock in. That's why I always say you got to lock in profits. I do this to myself every week where I don't lock. I mean, that was almost $1 run from my entry. And now I'm sitting here bag holding again. Trying to see if this trend line's going to hold up. Eee, that looks a little ugly. See, it got rejected there at the trend line. Trying to get back above. This is very, very close to cracking. I'm gonna put a little stop loss in below that low of the day, just in case it does crack and the starts coming down real fast. I don't know if my reaction time would be good enough to hop out, because this thing does move fast one way or the other. Yeah, CFHS. Well, it just depends on what happens with it, but yeah, it is pretty high. No, this is Thinkorswim. I don't use TradingView. No, Orlando, just lock in the profits. You know, the small gains are good. The small gains are good too. They'll add up, and then when you've got one where you just feel it, that's going to be a big one. Well, I don't want to say feel it, but when you know the probability is really high, it's going to be a nice big rip, and you hold. But see, this is still struggling to get back above the trend line. If the trend line can hold, we'll be good to go. If that trend line cracks right here, though, that's it. The sharks are going to be in the water. It may be another U-shape possibly, but it's got to hold up. It's got to start curling back up, and at the moment it's not curling yet. It could easily just dump. It needs to get back above 750 and start holding above 750 if it's going to start curling back up. But right at this point, I don't know for sure if we're going to hold up. It's a little sketchy. You can see we keep getting close to 750, but it keeps struggling to break over, and that's what's concerning. Because coming back up, you don't really want too much resistance. That's going to continue to push it back down. So we need buyers to push us back above 750. There we go. Oh, nope. See, still. If you're watching that level 2, you can see 750 is really giving it some trouble, and it needs to break through that really soon. It can't keep getting held up there. That's it. So we are getting a little bit of buy-in around 750 to try to hold it up. But you can see push right back down again. See, we got 45 seconds. This candle needs to close over 750. Does not need to close like that. That is not a pretty candle. This needs to push. That's what I'm saying. This has got to get back over 750 on this candle, or this is about to crack, because that is ugly. We got a little doji there almost. Like, that's real sketchy. Oh, I gotta kick myself in the shin on this one for not locking anything in up there. I mean, it ran all the way to 870. I don't lock anything in. I want to slam my head against the desk. Oof. Yeah, this is getting real sketchy. You can see it could not close over 750. It couldn't even close over the trend line. And if this keeps coming down, this is going to be a sell-off. This candle really needs to get over 750. We're getting very close to a sell-off. Okay, let's look at CHFS and IGC, what they're doing. So IGC actually broke down out of its triangle, so that was a failed breakout. And CHFS, that did, well, yeah, I mean, that had that nice U shape, but that's really, I mean, that's a little breakout. Well, that's good. It's a decent breakout, about $1.38 move, but not a huge breakout. So that got held up as well. I would still say that's kind of a failed breakout because it didn't climb anymore after that. So we're getting some failed breakouts. What's the SPY doing? SPY is going sideways at the moment. So far we haven't sold off below the trend line. Now it's starting to push back up. Buyers are starting to come back in. Now buyers just need to keep coming back in. Like I said, it needs to start holding 750. The trend line's at 748, so Needs to start holding 750. If we have another one of these ugly red candles, now it'll be sketchy. We really need a green candle here. You gotta scale up. You know, if you're starting off new, you're trading a small amount. Don't expect to make a whole lot of money right away. What you're focusing on is you're focusing on being consistent. You know, if you can be consistent with 50 bucks or whatever you're using and be consistently profitable where you're not losing money, you're actually growing that 50 bucks, then you can go up to 100 bucks. And then if you're consistent there, you go up to 200 bucks and you just keep slowly scaling up until you're comfortable with, putting maybe 1,000 in or something like that. But it's not, right now, you don't need to focus so much on the profits. You need to focus on the consistency. Because that's the key to being a profitable day trader, is consistency. So we are starting to pop back up a little bit. I don't want to get excited yet, because that could be just a little rebound and it could still drop. So but it is starting to try to hold. In the 750 area. A little bit of selling at 760. Ooh, shit. Oh, no, I don't got enough to do 10. So let's do, or 20, let's do 10. There we go. So I just added 10 down here in the 750 range because it's held up so far. Bringing my cost down to 784. But it needs to push back again. So this is what I was saying on that candle was that was decent candle, but this next one need to push up too. See, sketchy. See, with the U shape, kind of ruined the U shape there. This may be about to crack, because we needed to continue that momentum up, and instead it got stuck right there at 773. Like I said, if it drops below 712, that's it. 712 is the low. Oh, there we go. So just cracked. Just couldn't get it. Another failed breakout besides that little quick breakout. Ah, shit. That only sold 10 of my shares. I swore I changed that to 40. Well, that's really dumb. So now I'm in here risking even more of a loss. Shit. Should have paid attention to that. Really should get out. See, there's some support at 7. Yeah, there's some support there. It's starting to crack. I think this is going to come down. Trying to hold 7, but because I've somehow hoodooed myself still in the splay, I'm just gonna stop loss in right under 7, and we'll see if it can come back up or not. Or at least maybe come back up somewhat, and I can minimize this loss. That was very unfortunate, Thinkorswim. It's probably my fault. I didn't look. I mean, I changed the quantity to 40 before when I put the stop loss in, but I didn't look and see, and it clearly did not take a 40 stop loss. It took a 10 stop loss. 7 is trying to hold up. If it cracks below the lows, if I get stopped out here, it's going to be done for sure. I mean, it looks pretty done now, but there's some buying trying to hold it up in this area. So let's look and see what else is going on. I'm pretty sure I'm going to get stopped out on this. I'll be kind of surprised if it comes back up at this point. But they do have positive results for their COVID thing. They got a COVID-19 drug. They've got positive results. So it is possible it could come back up. But with this price action showing me right now and this momentum down, we got to have a change in momentum. That there's no pattern right now. There's no nothing. Now I'm really banging my head into the into the desk. God. Good morning, Brian. ISNO ripping a little bit. JCS. Let's see, so SINO, let's put that there. And then we got JCS, another ticker you guys want me to check out. Daniel B's doing his nice trash talking like normal. Never change, Daniel B. Never change. Your negativity will always be great. Ooh, that's a very interesting press release there. Oh, yeah, and I got stopped out on NVC, so no surprise. There's probably about 35, 40 loss. I'm getting killed since Friday. I'm at. Well, I still do. I still am holding AMTX. I held this all through yesterday and decided to swing it. So that's still a possibility that this could turn profitable. But God, NNVC should have been a winner. I should have locked that in. I'm so frustrated with myself right now, but that's all right. I don't know if it'd be worth a swing or not. It's just very interesting for cryptos. That's what I was saying. Like, I mean, it definitely. Well, yeah, you possibly could swing this. I mean, you got support there at the 50-day. 50-day is trying to hold up. This was all the way up at almost $13. So it does have some room to go up, but let's see here. No, my only concern is there's not much support other than that 50-day moving average until about 444. So you got a lot of ways you could drop as well. But you do have, it looks like you do have a bit of a trend line. Yeah, so you got a trend line. So you just play that trend line. You can swing it and put your stop loss right under the trend line. And possibly could be a decent swing. Very low float though, so just make sure you got a good till canceled stop loss, because if it does crack that trend line, it probably will come back down to those areas. See JCS, it's in a downtrend. Well, it did kind of break over the downtrend, but still, it's pretty much in a downtrend, and it's cracked below pre-market high, cracked below this support right here. It's pretty bearish. I'd want to see it get back above maybe 959. But like we've seen multiple breakouts fail. So even if this does start to curl back up in U shape, it could be a very quick pop over and it could fall. CHFS looking the same as well. Nothing there. SLGG. It's got some strong resistance in that 490 to 5 area. So RWLK does have, they entered a contract, but the details are not disclosed, so that's a little sketchy without seeing the details. It's kind of going sideways, but it could be one to keep an eye on. That's an OTC stock. What's the SPY doing? Did the SPY start dropping, or are we still going sideways? Still sideways. Man, these sideways markets. Sideways markets are always fun. And that's part of the reason why we're not getting any big breakouts so far, is because we've got sideways movement. Let's see Rocket with a nice climb so far. Nice gap up there. A little gap and go play. It looks like that may be the best play. FSR Getting pushed up. No PR though, so a little sketchy, but it is moving up. GTT slowly moving up, but it's gonna be running into the 9 EMA. Yep, so not a lot of big runners. PRI, it's mid caps. AMRS got a big flag on AMRS, so possible play here. Unless it cracks the flag right here. I don't know. I keep an eye on RWLK. It's not really done anything. It's had a little bit of consistent volume, but it's low volume. I mean, the highest volume bar is 124,000. It is kind of making a triangle here. A big fickle edge. It may not break out today, or it may not break out this morning. It may break out later, but there's a possibility for a breakout. You've had a lot of selling, and now they've got some good news. Might get a little buying. It's gotta get back above that 9 though. And 350 is gonna be some resistance, so. Yeah, if you can, yeah, exactly. If you can be consistent with 2 shares, you can do the same with 100 or 1,000. But the reason why I say slowly scale your way up is because trading with 50 or $100 is not gonna have the same mental. I'm trying to think of a word for it, but mental. Basically, it's not gonna have the same effect on your mental as trading with $1,000. Like if you need if $1,000 is, like, you really don't want to trade any money you can't lose, because if it's $1,000 and you absolutely can't lose it, then you're gonna be that thought's gonna be in the back of your head the whole time. So you definitely don't want to do that. But even if it is $1,000 that you can afford to lose, you've got to be able to beat that mental effect, because consistency, like I said, is the most important thing. But if you was to skip and go from $50 and straight to 1,000, that difference in amounts of shares and where your stop losses and everything might be, it's going to be different, and you're going to have a little bit of mental tug of war, possibly, with discipline like I do. That's why it's important to consistently, slowly scale up. So if you go to 50 to 100 and you're consistent, then 100 to 500 and you're consistent, then you go to 500 to 1,000 and you're consistent, then you'll continue to grow that account, and then you'll be up to 2,000, and you just keep consistently growing and getting used to trading more and more money. Yeah, Mark just said it in a lot better way than I did, I think. Orlando, you're 17 and you're doing research, buddy. You're doing great. You're doing great. You're trading. You know, most 17-year-olds right now are busy watching TikTok and making memes with Bernie Sanders wearing mittens. So So you're ahead of probably about 90% of your peers. So that you're already at an advantage versus them. So let's see. Ron, you said look back at ATG Presley's. Let's see. On February 3rd. Oh, maybe you just meant look at February 3rd on SINO. And they had a lot of PR on the 3rd. See, leadership to drive Bitcoin mining operations. Yeah, they are trying to Bitcoin mine, it sounds like. But what is this company actually about? This is okay. So this is a lesson for you guys. All you new traders, listen up to this. This is important, and this is going to be to do with PR. So, Sino is a shipping agency and logistics service provider. Alright, so they don't have any experience in crypto mining or anything like that. And geographically, you can see it conducts its business primarily through its wholly owned subsidiaries in the regions of China, Hong Kong, Australia, and Canada, New York. Now, China is trying to ban cryptocurrency, so I don't know how much of their subsidiaries are in China. But the point that I was wanting to make outside of that is this is a shipping agency and logistics service provider. And now they're all of a sudden into Bitcoin mining while Bitcoin is hot. So that type of thing you have to be very, very aware of. Now maybe they could be actually trying to start a Bitcoin mining company. Maybe they're trying to, but that timing is real coincidental. And with these low float penny stocks, you'll see, especially in the OTC markets. This is on the NASDAQ, but this still I've seen it happen on the NASDAQ or NYSE as well. These low float penny stocks will put out some bullshit like this and try to get traders hype. They'll be like, oh, we're starting a crypto mining business. Well, they might have bought just one crypto mining computer and then wrote it off on taxes just so they could say this to try to drum up excitement with the company. So just because their PR says that doesn't necessarily mean that it's actually true. And that's true for any company. Press releases, I've seen many times where a press release will come out and then an hour later they'll be like, oh, whoops, we actually didn't have positive results. We thought that they were positive, but we made an error with the decimal place, and so actually it turns out we don't have positive results. We had negative results, and then the stock dumps. So you got to be aware of that. But that's something in my experience. You gotta watch out with some PR, especially with these lower float penny stocks. Now the higher large caps, established companies like Apple and Amazon, Google, Facebook, Microsoft, Intel, any of those, they're very, well, not very, they're way less likely to have kind of a tricky PR. Their PR is most likely going to be legit every single time. But I would say any stock under $50 you want to kind of question. Sarah Daniel B. You know, you got a 17-year-old who's asking questions, who's interested in learning, and you're telling him he should be going and looking at boobs instead of learning stocks. Like, are you kidding, man? Are you kidding? Come on, man. This deserves a Biden. Come on, man. Come on, man. That's what. You're so negative, man. What happened to you? Yeah, China's definitely working to close. Yeah, that's what I was saying. China's working to close all that Bitcoin mining. But here to my point of what I was saying, and hey, AMTX is back over 15. But to my point of what I was saying, if you look at this chart pattern too, there was some sneaky buying going on back in January. All right, this was a little bit of buying, sneaky buying. And then they come out with that PR on the 3rd, and the stock rips way up here. And then it sells off. And now that it's sold off way down here, they come out with some PR where they're like, hey, we're accepting Bitcoin as payment. Buy our stock. You know you like it. Come on. Cryptos are hot right now. So, like I said, they could possibly be actually trying to do a crypto mining company, but it's real sketchy from what I'm seeing, just looking at the chart and seeing that they are not primarily a crypto company. They're a shipping agency and logistics service. So definitely a good lesson to learn. That'll save you some headaches in the future. You just got to dive a little bit deeper in and really see how much money they've invested in trying to be a Bitcoin mining company. Because they could. It's not impossible. But to me right now, it does look like some horse shit probably. Let's see, AMTX is starting to pop up a little bit here. Broke that downtrend up to 1550, and it did get all the way up to 1639 yesterday. Slowly climbed, but possibly maybe today it's going to make another possible good move. But that's why I decided just to swing it, because I was thinking, as strong as it ran yesterday, and then it held 14 pretty much all the way through after hours and pre-market. So it held its gains. It held the majority of its gains, because this was back at $9 before. So even though it went all the way up to 639 and it ended up only holding 14, that's still $5, about $5 of price that it held, $5 of gains that it held. So good probability that it could continue to break. Let's check a look. Sino. Yeah, you can see this is a perfect head and shoulders pattern. There's your shoulder, there's your head, and then there's your other shoulder, and this is selling off now. So if you don't know what a head and shoulder pattern is, that's what it is. It's exactly what it sounds like. Kind of got that shoulder there, head there, shoulder there. Actually, I'm curious on NVC. Did it make a head and shoulders pattern? No, it didn't make a head and shoulders pattern. See, that was even a double bottom right there, possibly. And it still cracked down. Crazy. Positive PR. Yeah, CHFS is done. This has just died off. We got a lot of stocks that are dying off. Like I said, I think we're in a mid cap market. This is 2 days in a row where penny stocks really aren't doing much, and the mid caps seem to be doing a lot better. Like JCS. Actually, JCS is starting to possibly make a double bottom. If it comes back up, it could be a possible deal there. And they signed a merger deal with Pineapple Energy. Nothing wrong with a little Pineapple Energy. So let's see. Oh, you better not do it, NMBC. You better not do it. NMBC is starting to slowly creep back up. So you had a trend line on CHFS, but it even cracked below that trend line. Does have an interesting chart pattern, but it got held up. You can see it got held up right there, that 1230 area where it got hung up before. Let's see how AMTX is doing. Oh yeah, AMTX is looking good. Looks like it's going to try to make another breakout. Oh, let's see. Is the SPY cracking now? Oh, the SPY has stopped going sideways and is now selling off. We just had a little sell-off back down to the 9 EMA. Futures pull back after third failed test of 3,900 level. Yeah, we may be still susceptible to a market crash. I still think we are. I think it's inevitable because the Fed and the government right now, they cannot. There's really no way that they can pull the country out of the debt that we are in, because inflation is rising. If you notice gas prices, they've been rising. If you notice food prices in the store have been rising. That is true inflation. And it's not so much that those prices are rising, it's just the buying power of the dollar is going down, because the value of those products didn't change. A barrel of oil is still just a barrel of oil, but how much you can buy of that oil with your dollar is the thing that's changing. The price is changing, but the value's not changing for the product. The value is changing for the US dollar, and it's dropping. So we're already seeing the inflation, and Jerome Powell's sitting up there saying that inflation doesn't happen anymore from money printing, which is the most insane statement ever. I think I talked about that yesterday. But the way that they pay their debts off is through higher inflation, because they decrease the value of the dollar, so when they have to pay back their treasury notes and stuff that they've loaned out to other countries, they're giving them less valuable dollars than what they borrowed before, in 2-3 years ago, or whenever they took out all these treasury notes. Now, that's how the government and the Federal Reserve use inflation to pay off their debts. But the problem is bond interest rates are rising, and when bond interest rates rise, that means the amount of interest that they have to pay back on that debt is going up. So the inflation right now that they say is not really existing, but it's obviously existing, is devaluing the dollar, and the amount of interest they owe on all their loans is going up. So they can't pay that debt off. Bond rates needed to stay low. They needed to run inflation hot and keep bond rates low, but they can't keep the bond rates low right now. They keep popping back up. So we're pretty much in the economic death spiral. That's the way I look at it, but JCS is moving up. Oh yeah, you got this nice double bottom, possible U shape here. This could be a possible play. For sure, it's got to break that 960-ish area, but then you're going to run into 10. $10 is always tough resistance. But if it can break over 10, then it's got room all the way up to 11. So definitely room for maybe a dollar, $1.50, maybe even $2 in there. And it could continue to climb up as well. Yeah, AMTX still nicely climbing. So there's a possible break here coming. But like I was just saying about the overall market is dropping right now. So you gotta be aware of that. It may not be a very big breakout. It may be another little fake out breakout up to 10, or maybe right up there to 10.20. Actually, my profit target would probably be 10.20. Oh wow, that's a crooked line I just drew there. Just because of market conditions. Now, could it run all the way up to the pre-market high? Possibly. But with current market conditions, it may be a little bit hard. But you can see so far market open, this never got over 10.20. I mean, it did get over 10.20, but not one candle closed over 10.20. The bodies of all these candles are below that 10.20 area, so that'd probably be my profit target. But I mean, if you get in around, it did kind of get rejected there. But if it can hold up $9 may not be a terrible entry. Or even maybe 875. Yeah, I would say 875 is probably. But it's coming down right now, so you got to curl down. So you definitely want to wait a few minutes and see if it's gonna start to curl back up, because this easily could just sell off. I mean, it's not bullish yet at all. Oh, let's see, AMTX all the way up to $16 right now. Let's see if it breaks through 16. No, it's not really following the SPY. different chart pattern. So it's not really following it, but yeah, I mean, if the stock pretty much, it's tricky because the SPY is an ETF of the overall market, but not every stock is included in the asset allocation of the SPY. Let's see if I can find. Here we go. So you gotta look at the asset allocation. So you can see here's, God, they got a lot in the SPY. There's a lot in there. I think it's 500 companies in the SPY if I remember correctly. But you can see the majority of the fund holdings is Apple, Microsoft, and Amazon. Those are the biggest majorities of this. So those whatever they do is going to kind of determine. And then you've got Facebook and Google, and Tesla as well right through there. So those big six right there are kind of what determines the overall market, because most of the ETFs are loaded up on those select stocks. And if you go to Market Watch, you can see Apple, Microsoft, Google's still a little bit in the green, but starting to turn. Facebook's starting to turn. Amazon's starting to turn. So that's going to make the SPY drop just because those six stocks are dropping. Now, the overall market sentiment, because those six stocks are dropping and the SPY and the Dow might be dropping as well, is going to make traders skittish. They're going to be afraid to get in many stocks. Like, they're going to be cautious. So it's not necessarily that's directly following the SPY. It's more the trader sentiment correlating with the SPY. If that makes any sense. AMTX having a little pullback. I think I'll probably just continue to hold AMTX for a couple of days here, especially if it continues to push up today. But it is up a little ways, so I don't know. We'll see. I'll have to see how this closes today, because that could be the end of its little run today. It's not it for this to continue to run. It's got to break and make a new high here today, which is possible. It's not far from it. No problem, Jamie. But you can see LABD inverse ETF popping up. Yeah, I want to check and see what gold's doing, because gold's been dropping the last couple of days. Actually, this last couple of weeks. And gold is the best hedge against inflation. And you see some of the gold stocks are green today. Most of them are green today, but overall they've been selling off. So there's actually some pretty good discount prices on some of these stocks. Like Newmont is down around 55, and it was all the way up at 72 back in July, and they pay a dividend. A lot of these gold stocks will pay a dividend. So if you're not investing in physical gold or silver, you can build a portfolio of gold miners and silver miners, and there are some funds that are allocated solely to just gold and silver bullion. So you buy into the fund like a stock, and you're buying into a piece of that gold and silver bullion they've got in a safe somewhere. So if gold and silver goes up, the fund will go up in price. Gold and silver goes down, the fund will drop in price. But like I said, with inflation, gold and silver are still the best hedges. Unless, there's one big unless to this, and that is cryptos. And I don't know if cryptos are going to, I don't know how they're going to react to inflation. It depends on how the majority of investors look at it. If they look at cryptos as a hedge against inflation and look at it as assets, then money could pour into there to combat inflation, and gold and silver could get, I think I said that yesterday too, that it could get a little sketchy, but I don't know for sure. So I like cryptos anyway, and I like gold and silver anyway, so I invest in both. But I am going to start building a gold and silver stock portfolio here soon. Well, actually, I've already started, but I think this I think this crash is inevitable. I don't know how much more the Fed can try to save things. They still have some tricks up their sleeves, but yeah, you can see JCS coming back down, got rejected there. NMVC still coming back down. AMTX though. AMTX coming up close to a new high a day. Or new high a year, I should say, actually. Oh, here we go. New high a year. Maybe. Ooh, we're testing that. There. Oh, oh. There it goes. A little delay there for that high a year, but it made it up there. Now, everybody who's in here yesterday and saw me bag hold this all day, just because this is working out for me does not mean that this was a good trade. You never want to bag hold like I did. Um, but this time it's working out for me. But I'm not gonna attribute that to my trading skill or anything. I'm gonna attribute it to pure luck. And you don't really want to be trading off of luck in the stock market. You can see it got rejected there at 1670. All right, guys, give me just a few minutes. I'm gonna take a quick little breather here. Yeah, tisk, I know. And then we'll be right back, and then we'll give the stream probably about 20-ish minutes. So if you guys have any more questions, suggestions, or ideas, go ahead and get those in. And I will be right back. All right. Check the sway scanner, see if there's anything popping up on it. SLGG could be a possible play here. RWLK still in this triangle. Oh, looks like volume's died off on a lot of stock. Look at the volume that's died off after the first 30 minutes of all these stocks. This was up into millions, and now it's way down there. Sino, same thing, drop off. NMVC. JCSS still has consistent volume. On the 5 minute, it looks like it's trying to make a double bottom. On the 2 minute, that double bottom didn't really hold up. And AMTX is just slowly getting by in volume in it, which is actually a pretty nice sign. If buying volume keeps slowly building like that throughout the day. But yeah, I'm noticing a lot of stocks. Let's look on the top 10. Let's go through here and see. So yeah, CHFS, AMRS popped out of that triangle, so there was a potential play there. It didn't pop up very much though out of that triangle so far. You could have got $1. But that one has consistent volume. Perion at the moment is in this straight up trend line, but decent volume. Well, actually, this volume is consistent, but the highest volume bar is up to 264,000, so that's actually not that much volume on this. GTT, there's some increase in volume as well. And then Rocket, you can see Rocket got rejected at that $30 area, and volume decreasing there as well. But yeah, a lot of stocks lost volume. And look what time correlation that has to do with. The first 30 minutes there was strong volume, and then what happened right here? The SPY started dropping. Traders got skittish, started yanking their money. That's why we're having all those fake out breakouts. What's going on, Tez? Now, I can't prove that's the case. But off of logical deduction, I would say that's a good probability of what happened today. Because we were going sideways and volume was strong. And then as soon as traders saw that the SPY was going to start cracking and not come up, they got skittish. SLGG looks like it could be a possible play. Like this, it's looking pretty decent here. But like I said, traders kind of skittish. They've kind of moved. You kind of see they kind of moved from the more explosive stocks. The SPY's coming back up. If the SPY starts rebounding, then we probably would see volume start to increase on a lot of these stocks. So watch SLGG for a minute. They don't have a ton of volume yet. It's not had a volume bar that was over 1 million, but it is getting consistent buying that's slowly pushing it up. NVC start trying to get back over 7. That 425 is going to be strong resistance, because you can see where none of these candles was able to close over 425. So that's where the strong resistance is at. A couple of them popped over, but the bodies of the candles ended up closing under it. So it's got to break 425. And it looks like the only reason why it's getting this run only only reason why it's getting this run is because some top analyst said it was a stock to buy, as a penny stock to buy. And RWalk was another one of those. You can see RWalk's in that triangle, but SLGG seems to be the one that's getting the most attention. We check FBIO and see if it's getting any attention or what it looks like. And FBIO is slowly climbing too. SLGG testing us 425 right now. This is a esports stock, which esports stocks do have a lot of potential, especially with the lockdowns and all that, and everybody kind of got a little sick of the NBA and NFL just because of how kind of ridiculous it was with no fans in the stands or anything like that. It just was kind of boring. Where esports, you don't have to be in the same room to compete. It's not quite the same thing, but I think as we move further and further into the future and technology advances, I think we're going to see esports continue to grow. Especially as VR technology continues to grow. Here's my biggest logic behind it. If they're able to make a full-scale virtual reality football game where NFL players could play in that virtual world, well, then you don't have injuries to your $1 million investments, because that's what those sports teams, professional sports teams, look at their players as. Their players are investments. If you invest, you're paying LeBron James, $50 million a year or whatever he makes, and then he breaks his knee. Well, your investment's not getting very much return. You're not going to have fans in the stands buying drinks and merch and all of that. And because injuries are such especially in football and soccer, and hockey too, injuries are a lot more prone to happen. Virtual reality could take that element out. And I don't think that's going to happen in the next year or anything, but in the next 10, 20 years, very possibly we could be watching virtual reality NFL. And you see SLGG trying to break here, but still kind of getting held up. See, that body of that candle's getting pushed back down. So you need a candle, body of a candle to close over that 425 area. Let's pop back over to RWalk real quick. Still in this little triangle. What is the SPY doing? Is it going to rebound? No, it does not look like the SPY is going to rebound. I could be wrong, but it's looking pretty rough at the moment. Let's read some of these press releases and bitch about our government and stuff. So let's pop this up here while we're waiting. I'm going to switch back to, let me pop back to SLG. Let's see if it breaks out first, and then we'll read the news on the SPY and the overall market, and then we'll call it a day. And you see, this did get 1 million in volume right there, but it didn't get enough to break through. At 425 is really tough. So a little pullback at the moment. So I'm gonna go ahead and read the SPY news, and I'll keep an eye on SLG out the corner of my eye, and if it starts coming back up to 425, we'll flip back over. So, House Majority Leader expects to take up Biden's $1.9 trillion plan that the money does not even exist for. They see that being passed either this Friday or Saturday. So the market could be sketchy until then, because I think that's why the market had rebounded yesterday. Some was because they had passed the bill through the House, but it still hasn't officially passed. Investors and stuff want to see that stimulus money get into the economy. But that right there, what I read earlier, the third test, the fact that S&P 500 future failed its third test of that area is a little sketchy. Hong Kong reports the death of a man of 63 after receiving a vaccine shot. Seems this morning futures higher as bond yields ease. And you can see U.S. equity futures fractionally lower. China Banking and Insurance Regulatory Commission head said Tuesday market corrections may happen sooner rather than later. And that's what I'm expecting. JCS is starting to slowly climb back up. SLGG getting rejected. So there's actually not a lot of PR today on the SPY, interestingly enough. But JCS could start to be a possible play here. Harwalk still in that triangle. IGC is selling up. I'm going to take that off. SINO is still trying to come back up. AMTX is flagging. Put that flag on AMTX right there. And NVC is just continuing to sell off. SPY getting close to making a new low of market open. It came real close to it. If it drops below 387, it's probably going to be dumpski. Probably see it drop. Man, it could drop back. It could drop all the way down to 380. That would be a pretty far drop. But it did do it back here when it got rejected. So till the SPY breaks this uptrend at 390, it's very susceptible to a drop. Oh, SLGG just started breaking out. We're trying to break out. Look, still not had a candle close over 425. This one popped over, but that body ended up closing under it. So this one's got to close over it. And it's got 45 seconds left on this candle. Let's see if it closes over 425. If it closes over 425, it should be good to go. If it doesn't, then you can see it's starting to curl back over. If it's under 425, and then it could come back down on this trend line at that 403 area. 20 seconds here. Let's see how it closes. And buyers are trying to hold up 425. Yeah, bids are starting to stack. Looks like it's going to close over it. Yeah, it is. So maybe getting ready to start moving. Does have to break through the previous high a day too, though. It could hit that previous high a day and sell off. But if it doesn't break up and make a new high a day here, then it could be sketchy. It's trying to hold. It's trying to confirm this break. Still a lot of selling in that 430 area. And they got taken out. There you go. Boom. New high a day. Very nice. Ooh, getting pushed right back down though. That's still early in this 5-minute. Are we back now? You guys let me know in the chat. I'm fixing to end the stream anyway, but I'd at least like to say bye to everybody. I just now got a message that OBS was messing up, so there's a little delayed on the message that it was messing up. I've been sitting there talking, and then I looked over and saw people started saying something's wrong with the stream. You're good here now? Okay, so sorry guys. I don't know what happened there on that little delay, but yeah, you can see SLGG getting rejected as the SPY dropped. So I think I'm gonna call it a day anyway. Well, I said I was gonna call it a day 20 minutes ago anyway. So the stream, if it keeps messing up, who knows what's going on with that. But yeah, we will be back tomorrow. And tomorrow I am going to try my best to stay disciplined and just lock in profits. I got to get it through my head that we're not in the breakout hot market like we were. We are in a sketchy market, so any profit is good profit and you got to lock it in. But yeah, you guys, great job. You guys are doing good learning. One Life, you're doing a great job moderating. Daniel B, you're being a great job at being a dick. So I appreciate everybody joining me as always. You guys have a great rest of your day. Until next time.